Okay, I want to look at number 33 in section 2.6 because I thought this one you might like to see the argument here. Now, you want to look at the limit as theta goes to 0 of the sine of 7 theta divided by the sine of 3 theta. Okay, well, if you look at the calculator, if you type this into your calculator, and this is only going to give you just an idea of the limit, you're going to have to do a careful argument of what the limit is. So divided by the sine of 3x. And then if we go to the table and we look at 0, it seems like we're getting this 2.33 number. And if you're having a good day, you probably know that 7/3 is 2.33, or 2 1/3. So you're expecting your answer to be 7/3, but you have to make a careful mathematical argument. Now, Theorem 2 told us that the limit as theta goes to 0 of the sine of theta over theta is equal to 1. So we have that we can apply. And we need to make some substitutions or just kind of play with the sine of 7 theta over the sine of 3 theta. So what I would do first is multiply by, well, what would we need? Well, we need a 3 theta over 3 theta, because if we had that, then the sine of 3 theta over the sine of theta, you guys should be able to understand that if on looking at Theorem 2, we can conclude that the limit as theta goes to 0 of theta over sine theta is also equal to 1, because we can just reciprocate there, and that's not going to be a problem. We can flip those. So 3 theta over sine 3 theta would be nice to have, because that limit would go to 1, meaning that if we just replace theta with 3 theta, since it's the same. But what else do we need? Well, we also need a 7 theta over 7 theta. Because if we did that, then we would have sine 7 theta over 7 theta. And we would know that that blue circled thing goes to 1 as theta goes to 0, and the yellow goes to 1. And then you would be left with 7 theta over 3 theta, and your thetas would cancel. So that's kind of the strategy that you want to take on this problem. So you would say that the limit as theta goes to 0 of sine 7 theta over 7 theta times 3 theta over the sine of 3 theta times 7 theta over 3 theta. So I just kind of put them in their little groups together. And I see that I really didn't do anything, because this 3 theta would cancel with this 3 theta, and that 7 theta would cancel with that 7 theta. But each of these parts I can consider individually, because those are all limits that I know. So the limit as theta goes to 0 of sine 7 theta over 7 theta, that's just 1. And the limit as theta goes to 0 of 3 theta over sine 3 theta is 1. And the limit as theta goes to 0 of 7 theta over 3 theta, well, those thetas cancel and you do just get 7/3. So you can argue then that this entire limit is going to be equal to 7/3.